Am I the asshole for getting frustrated with my wife's bathroom boundaries? I love my wife so much. But she can have ridiculous boundary issues, especially concerning the bathroom. She hates anyone being in the bathroom with her. Sounds reasonable, right? Except she'll rage angrily if anyone gets near her in the bathroom. Just now, our 3-year-old son, hyper as normal, starts to open the bathroom door when she is in there. This happens just as I am walking upstairs from my basement office to get some food. I hear her shriek, "Don't open it!" at him, in a voice that's both panicky and angry, and he is startled and starts crying, "Sorry. Sorry," and he is obviously upset that his mother just freaked out on him. I'm annoyed because if she really wants privacy, then lock the damn door. But she rarely does. Sometimes she leaves it open a crack, and without the light even on, so I wouldn't even know someone is in there. And when I start to walk by, not even knowing she's in there, she'll shriek out to not come in the bathroom. Like, okay, I wasn't going to, but close the damn door if your privacy is that important. That's actually happened so many times, where she is in there, the door is open a crack, and the light is off, so I think it's unoccupied, and she freaks out on me when I start to go in. About a week ago, I walked into our master bedroom, which has a private bathroom with 2 French doors. Both just open. I start to walk into the bathroom not knowing she's there, and she shrieks out, "Ah, don't come in here," which startles the hell out of me. And she comes out mad at me. Again. Close the door if you need to. Just now when the incident with my son happened, and he was crying and I was trying to console him, angry that such a stupid thing made her react so much as to upset him, I mumbled under my breath, "Yeah, because the world would end if someone saw you in the bathroom," and I left the room. She texted me, "I don't want to hear one more goddamn smart comment about me needing privacy in the bathroom. It's not that I don't think she deserves to have privacy. It's that I am frustrated that she doesn't take the proper precautions to ensure it, and b. blames the other person and gets mad at them, me, or screams and makes a kid cry, because they, heaven forbid, almost saw her sitting on the toilet." Reddit. Am I the asshole or does she need to chill out? Edit. A few things to clarify. 1. No, she is not doing drugs in the bathroom, or self-harming. 0% chance. 2. She didn't scream at our son or traumatize him. Yes, he was upset, but he calmed down within moments. She was surprised and somewhat agitated, but it was not an abusive scream. It was a frustrated parent voice raise. 3. I think she thinks if I see her in the bathroom it will ruin the magic, sexually. When she gave birth to our kids, I was in the delivery room every time, yet she was adamant that I stay next to her and not in front of her to see her vagina. She's heard stories of husbands losing all sexual attractions to their wives after witnessing childbirth. 4. I asked her why she didn't lock the door, and she said the door is busted and doesn't lock. We live in a rental, and several doorknobs are wonky. This particular bathroom has had issues, but the opposite way. The doorknobs can be hard to open when they are unlocked, but they do lock. I didn't press her on this though. 5. I think, overall, the reason she leaves the doors open sometimes is because she is a stay-at-home mom with young children, and she is in the habit of not wanting to leave them totally unsupervised, so she can hear them. Still, if that's what you're doing, you need to be aware of the consequences. Not the asshole. Is she doing drugs? Self-harming? Her reaction seems really extreme for just normal bathroom stuff. Her boundaries sound reasonable, but if she is literally leaving the door partially open with the lights off and expects people to be psychic, that isn't. Not the asshole. She needs to learn how to use the lock. Not the asshole. You need to freak out on her when you walk in while she has the door cracked and the light off. Scream about how she scared you to death and you are scarred for life by seeing her sitting on the toilet. Not Tom mention the smell. Scream about how she should not be subjecting you to such horrors and just needs to close the damn door when she is in there. Not the asshole. If privacy is that important to her, then she needs to do the bare minimum, like close the door, to ensure she gets it. There is zero expectation of privacy if you don't close the door to the bathroom. There is not a great expectation of privacy if you don't lock the door to the bathroom with a 3-year-old in the house. While your wife is entitled to privacy in the bathroom, she needs to calibrate her own actions to meet her expectations. And quite frankly, who is that concerned about bathroom privacy, but doesn't at least close the door? Sorry, but she's doing it intentionally at this point. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for breaking tradition by not making my step-cousin a bridesmaid? I, 26F, have a step-cousin Jess, 29F, who is the stepdaughter of my uncle Rob. Rob married Jess's mother Tara when Jess was 9, and Rob already had my cousin Nate who was 8. I have 7 cousins total, and Jess tried to bully all of us. She didn't really succeed with my 2 older cousins, who were pre-teens and totally unbothered, but the rest of us were forced to play with her and she the absolute worst. She was bossy, and a nightmare if no one did what she told them. She'd take things, break things, and tattle to her mother constantly. As we got older, it just got worse. She stole my cousin Beth's car because she was jealous she got one for her birthday. She stole our social media content and posted it publicly. She had a party at my aunt's empty apartment. It was bad. Nowadays she mostly nurses her intense victim complex and does her level best to be a soul-sucking presence at Christmases and summer holidays. In our family, when one of us has got married, the cousins are bridesmaids, groomsmen. Jess has been included in this twice, and both times she was such a drag at all the events we literally had do-overs, and she got sent out of the bridal suite. I decided for mine that I wouldn't make her a bridesmaid. I am having a wedding of 300 people that has effectively been planned like a military operation and frankly is causing me more anxiety than I'd like. I don't need Jess ruining the run-up to the day. I asked all my female cousins and my father's girlfriend. I sent Jess a long message explaining that I wanted her to hear it from me, and that since we are not close I presume she wouldn't be too put out, but I hoped that she wasn't offended, understood my decision, and that she would still attend the wedding. All hell broke loose. My grandfather and father have been getting bombarded by Tara saying that they have to put their foot down and make me have Jess as a bridesmaid as is family tradition. Jess even went so far as to contact my fiancé about how hurt she is. Her creepy obsession with him is a whole other thing. Rob has contacted me to be fair to him, very kindly, ask me to reconsider. Jess is bemoaning the fact that by excluding her I've basically said that she isn't family because she's not related, and she hasn't been shy about sharing this publicly. My grandmother has said that it's unseemly to have this much drama surrounding the wedding and that I could have Jess up there on the day and just not invite her to anything beforehand, so that it at least looks cohesive. My grandmother is right about one thing, Tara and Jess are not letting it go and it's becoming a huge thing. So I'm wondering if I made a mistake by taking this stand. I'm seeing a lot of people saying it's unfair that my family are siding with Jess. They aren't. My grandfather and father have both told Tara where to go. My grandmother doesn't like Jess any more than I do, but she is sometimes more concerned with what her society circle thinks than the real situation. She's just trying to avoid gossip, not her finest moment, but she isn't suggesting I give in for Jess's sake. Not the asshole, don't let them bully you. Hold fast. Not the asshole. She sounds like the type of a person that can cause scene at your wedding just because she isn't a bridesmaid. You wouldn't be an asshole if you decided to not invite her and her mother. Also, I'm surprised with the things she got away with. Jess has been causing trouble to family all this time. She stole a car and posted your private content publicly. If someone else had done these, they'd face jail time. And your family still wants her to be included somehow because of the noise she and her mother makes. You all need to put your foot down, they got away with enough. Not the asshole. Don't be shy about sharing publicly that she's being excluded because she's terrible to be around, not because she's not family. Not the asshole. She's been an asshole for many years, she should have seen it coming. Most people wouldn't ask a bully to be one of their bridesmaids. Not the asshole, your wedding, your rules. Am I the asshole for telling my housemate that people are sick of hearing her travel stories? I, 26 female, live with 3 other people in a house. Let's call them Mark, 25 male, Jeff, 25 male, and Sam, 24 female. We all met through our cohort at work. Our main circle of friends is people we've met through our cohort. Mark and I play soccer in a rec league and have made some other friends that way. Jeff is involved with his church's youth program so has made friends that way, while Sam's hobbies are more solitary, reading, watching TV, puzzles. Her introverted nature has caused us to have a few issues before. I would have plans with one of our mutual friends and go to leave. She'd be in our living room watching TV and ask where I'm going, then ask if she could tag along. I'd either say yes and not get to have the one-on-one time with a friend that I wanted, or tell her, actually I was really hoping to get some one-on-one time with them, and she'd understand, but be upset. Part of the issue is that instead of inviting others to do something, she waits to be invited to things, then gets upset when invitations don't come. But another factor is that she can rub people the wrong way, the main reason being that she seemingly can't go 10 minutes without connecting a conversation to the fact that she studied abroad in France, for a semester, then for 3 weeks in the summer. You mention flowers, she talks about, in Lyon, they talk about movies and the theaters in France. It always comes off very, I'd rather be in France where life is better and people were classier. And to be honest, most of our social circle has studied abroad, IR-type job, at some point and has stories like that. A few of our friends have mentioned to me that they're sick of hearing her talk about how much better France is than here. It all came to a head last Sunday when Mark and I were playing soccer. Jeff was at brunch with his church friends, and Sam woke up to find herself alone. She asked me to go on a walk later that day and told me she felt alone and abandoned in the morning. We were all gone and she didn't know where we were and thought we were all hanging out with mutual friends without her. That her college roommate would do the same thing, hang out with mutual friends and not invite her or tell her, and how she couldn't go through that again. I felt a bit like she was acting upset with me for daring to hang out, on my own, with people outside my household. So I told her, well, maybe if you made plans yourself instead of just asking to tag along to ours, you wouldn't feel so much like this. And maybe if you could go a single hour without talking about how great your program in France was, more people would ask to hang out with you. She clammed up after I said that. So I assured her that we all still like her as a housemate and like hanging out with her, but that sometimes we've got other stuff going on which is normal. She's spent most of the week in her room and isn't talking to me. I feel bad that she's upset but don't think I said anything out of order. So, Reddit, am I the asshole here? You are the asshole. You set up all the info to justify your text, but you just came off as rude to Sam. You could have encouraged her to make plans with people, which she tried to do before you were rude to her, and gently explained that people find her constant talk of France annoying. But you snapped on her with no warning and she shut down. You owe her an apology and a conversation. You are the asshole. Soft, you are the asshole because you didn't have to bring up the France thing. It's annoying but not bad behavior. You were right for telling her she needs to make her own plans though. People who expect to always be invited are seriously childish. I've had people like that in my life, and I refuse to cater to that from another adult. You are the asshole. You are the asshole, and you sound like a PMAB too. Am I the asshole for making a separate portion of stuffing for my son? I, 33F, am married to John, 35M. Together we have a daughter, 3F, and are currently expecting our second child together. We both also have a child from previous relationships. I have Liam, 8M, from my previous marriage, and my husband has Ava, 10F. I make Sunday lunch for my family every week. On Friday, Liam asked if I could make stuffing without onions this week. Liam doesn't normally eat stuffing. He tried it a few times, decided he wasn't a fan, and that was it. He tried it with his dad the weekend before. We have 50-50 custody, so our weekends vary, and liked it. I agreed, and on Sunday made my son his own stuffing without onions. It's no big deal, after all, and I'm happy to make separate portions of anything if it means my children eat more. This is where the problem starts. We sit at the dining table and John points out that Liam has stuffing on his plate. Liam tells him that I made him stuffing without onions, because he likes it without the onions. Immediately, I noticed Ava's mood sour, and when I pressed her, she asked why I didn't make her stuffing without onions when she'd asked about it months ago. Now, I'd understand where she was coming from if she'd actually asked, but I had no clue what she was talking about. I said as much, and she told me that she'd brought it up with John, who said he'd talk to me. John never spoke to me about it, and told Ava that it was too much work for me to take out the onions just for her. John said he didn't tell me because he thought it'd be too hard on me, wanted to make things easier, thought I'd only say no anyway. He even said that it didn't make sense to make a separate portion for just one person. He said it was stupid that I'd even done it for Liam. He said the kids should learn to either make do with onions or not have stuffing at all, because not everything in life is going to go their way. I called him an idiot. I then went to the kitchen and got the rest of the onion-less stuffing for Ava to try. Later that evening, Ava went back to her mother's and told her what happened, which caused an argument between her and John, and they're not on good terms anyway. John has been angry with me since. He says it's my fault Ava, and her mother, is mad at him. He says I should have just left the D.M.N. stuffing alone, that I'm just spoiling my son by giving in to him like that. There's been some name-calling, but I'd rather not repeat what he said. Liam must have told Mike what happened, too, because he's told me that he thinks John is overreacting. John's mother and older sister think I'm in a hole, but his brother has told me to just ignore him. My parents are also on my side, because they used to make separate portions for me when I was a child if I didn't like a specific ingredient. My sister told me to post on here to see if the majority think I'm in the wrong or not. So, I dread to ask, am I the a-hole for making a separate portion of stuffing to suit my son's taste? OMG, not the asshole, and I can see why your husband's first marriage didn't work out. He's cruel. Your child is 8, not 18. If it wasn't too much trouble to make him something he would prefer to eat, why wouldn't you do that for him? Sounds like your family doesn't like onions. Maybe no more onions. Open mouth smile. For real though, John's reaction to you feeding your child is horrendous. If it were me, I'd be concerned about what nonsense he's saying to your children when you're not around. Not the asshole. Your husband is though. For first telling his daughter he'd do something and intentionally not do it. He caused this entire thing. He should have talked about it with you before deciding to tell her that you said it would be too much work. It's his lies that caused this mess. Op is not the asshole and a caring parent. Now John, on the other hand. I know this story is just a snapshot of your life. But Op, ask yourself if this behavior of name-calling and shaming is a one-off event or a pattern. If it's the latter, do yourself and Liam a favor and sincerely re-evaluate this relationship. Not the asshole. But onions in the stuffing are the least of your problems. If your significant other is calling you names and telling you how to treat your son, you have bigger issues to address. Not the asshole. How could you be? You didn't do something you had no idea you were expected to do. And your position is totally reasonable. It is not much work to make stuffing and only put the onions in a portion of it. John is being ridiculous. A life lesson based on stuffing? Jeef 2 lol.